Hello and welcome to this Flask full course. I am Edmond. In this video, we'll cover what Flask is, why it is popular, and how to set up your first Flask project. By the end of this video, you'll have a basic Flask app up and running. So what is Flask? Flask is a lightweight and flexible web framework for Python. Unlike Django, which is a batteries included framework, Flask is minimalistic and allows developers to add only features that they need. Flask is used for building web applications, APIs, and microservices. Some well-known companies using Flask include Netflix, Reddit, and Lyft. So why should you choose Flask? So here are some of the great reasons why you should choose Flask for web development. One is its simplicity. Flask has a minimalistic approach, making it easy to learn. Flask is also flexible, so we can add only the features that we need inside of our web application. Flask is also lightweight, which means it doesn't enforce a specific project structure or unnecessary dependencies. Then finally, its extensibility. So Flask can be integrated with SQL databases, authentications, and front-end frameworks like React or Vue. So now that we have a basic understanding of what Flask is, let's now set it up on our system. So let's now set up Flask. The first thing we should do before setting up Flask is to check whether we have Python installed. So Flask runs on Python, so you need to have Python installed. We can check if Python is installed by running this command inside of our terminal. So I'll open command prompt inside of Windows here, then type in python --version and press enter, and we'll see that we get the Python version on our device. So if Python is not installed on your device, just head over to the official website, and that is python.org, to download it. Now that we have Python installed, let's now create a virtual environment. A virtual environment will allow us to create an isolated Python workspace for our Flask project. To create one, we are going to navigate to our project structure and run python -m venv venv. And so when I now press enter, you see that it waits for some few minutes, then our virtual environment is created on our device. So after creating our virtual environment, what we now have to do is to activate the virtual environment. To activate the virtual environment in Windows, we're going to run venv /script/activate, then press enter. Then we see that our virtual environment has been activated successfully on our project. So if this is done correctly, we'll see that venv will be attached before the command line. So now let's install Flask on our virtual environment. So with the virtual environment activated, to install the Flask, we use something called the Python package manager. So I'll type pip install Flask, and when I run this, we'll see that we'll get a Flask application installed on our device. Now to verify that Flask is installed on our device, I'm going to run python -m flask --version. Then we'll see that we get the version of Flask installed on our device. So now that we have set up Flask on our device, I'll type code here to open the code editor in this folder structure. So after opening the code editor, let's now take a look at how to create our first Flask application. So what we are going to do in this application is that we're going to create a simple Hello World Flask application. So inside our project folder in VS Code, I'll create a new Python file and name it app.py. Now, when I open app.py inside of our text editor, what we are going to do is that we're going to type from Flask import Flask. So this will basically help us import the libraries that we need from the Flask framework. So after importing our Flask classes, functions, and whatever that we need, what we now have to do is that we have to create an instance of our application. So to create an instance of our application, I'll create a variable called app, then set it to Flask. That takes in a double underscore name variable. Now, after creating our app instance, what we now have to do is that we have to define a route. So a route basically is defining URL patterns that users can visit in a web application. So in this route here, we are basically defining the URL for our home page for this application. So I have a decorator that takes in app.route, that's followed by parentheses, then it takes in a string of slash. So the string of slash basically indicates this is the home route. So now I'll now define a function underneath this decorator, which is home, then it's going to return hello world. So after returning hello world, what we now have to do is that we are going to have if double_name is equal to main, then we are going to have app.run. So the app.run will basically start the Flask development server. Then we set our debug to true. So this will start the development server with debug mode enabled. So after setting up our Flask application, now when I run this file, we'll see that I'll get a URL to this application. And when I copy this URL and open it inside my browser, we'll see that we get hello world displayed on the screen. So that is basically how we can create our first web application inside of Flask. Now let's take a look at understanding the Flask project structure. So as every Flask project grows, you need a structured project setup. So let's take a look at some of the most common project structure that is commonly used in the real world. So here we'll have my_Flask_project. This is the main folder for our Flask project. Then after that, we'll have a folder for static. The static will contain CSS, JSS, and images of our Flask project. Then we'll have /templates. The /template will take in all the HTML files that will be rendered on our application. Then also have routes. The routes will help us to open pages inside of our web application. Then we'll have app.py. The app.py is the main file inside of our Flask web application. Then have requirements.txt. The requirements.txt will basically include all the libraries that's needed to set up this Flask project in case someone clones it on GitHub. Then we also have a virtual environment to keep all of our projects and its libraries isolated from the system Python installation. So this is how we can basically structure our Flask projects inside of Python. So in the next video, we'll be taking a look at Flask routes and views. So we'll take a look at how to create multiple pages and dynamic routes. So see you in the next video.